You might have a space where you could put a gas range or incorporate a barbecue pit without costing you a whole lot. It would give you an attraction and maybe increase the pool of buyers.
Welcome to the RE Real Estate Podcast, where we discuss buying and selling real estate in black and white. Here are your hosts, Ben Harang and Clint Galliano.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the RE Real Estate Podcast. I'm Ben Harang, and with me is my co-host, Clint Galliano. Good morning, Clint. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Ben. How you doing?
I'm doing terrific today, though. The weather's wonderful. We had a little cool spell. It's warming up a little bit. No rain today. Life is good. Life is good. So what are we talking about today?
All right. So today we're going to be talking about South Louisiana ROI. Yeah, so everybody does upgrades, and some upgrades are beneficial to you as the owner. Some upgrades are beneficial to the investment in your home. You know, they'll actually give you a return on your investment. So we're going to kind of skim through some investments that are good and some investments that you might get benefit out of it, but they won't necessarily add to the top of your price when you go to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, you know, they might spend $50,000 on a renovation or putting a pool in or something like that, but they're not going to get that much added to the value of the home.
I tell people the best way to get a house with a pool is to buy one with a pool. A lot of people put in pools, but it certainly does not give you a good return on that investment if that's all you're looking for. It's a matter of how much the utilization is worth to you. So that's just one of them.
Indeed. Yep. So we're ultimately we're talking about smart money and what's beneficial. And so kind of same like Ben said, you know, is it beneficial to you? Is it worth it to you? You know, this isn't about, you know, we kind of last few episodes we've talked about how what you see on TV in the national market isn't reflected in our local market. And so this is more of it. ROI on a home isn't just about new kitchen. Insurance plays a part, you know, for some of it. Desirability plays another. Actually, it's probably the two biggest things are desirability on the market and functionality. And those are the two biggest things that play a part on if you'll get a return on an investment of an upgrade. So these are the things we're going to cover.
I have a question for you, Clint. If I want to sell my house and I have a 20-year-old roof and we have the roof conversation and I say, well, Clint, my roof isn't leaking. It's good. I don't need to change it. I don't need to change it till it starts leaking. Should or should not that roof be changed before selling that house?
So that's a calculation that you as the seller needs to take on.
Mm-hmm.
So here are the facts behind it. From a value appraisal point of view, if there's a functional roof in place, that's all that matters for value. So as long as the roof is functional, then that's not going to affect the value. You put in a new roof, it's not going to affect the value. It might give a couple of $1,000s of additional value depending on how old the original roof was, you know, and you maybe get opinions of value before and after. But where it will impact you is your buyer pool. Because if a buyer is looking at buying the home, you might be able to replace that roof for $15,000, which is probably, I'd say, a typical price to replace a roof in our market, depending on the size of the house and all that fun stuff. But if a buyer comes in and they're looking at a 20-year-old roof and knowing that they're going to have trouble getting insurance because a lot of the larger carriers won't write a policy on houses with roofs over 10 years old in our market, and the ones that do charge more, then they're going to want to, at minimum, offer $20,000 less because they don't know exactly what it costs to replace a roof, but they're thinking it's at least $20,000
Right.
to replace the roof. So that's something you got to take into your calculations.
You know, on a roof that's done, what happens is you're not going to get the real value for your house, and you would be taking the hit at the cost of a roof at least. And I tell people it's always cheaper for you to do it yourself than to discount it to a buyer who is going to always want a bigger credit than what it actually costs because they don't know what it's going to cost. So you're better off doing it yourself than giving a credit because the credit is typically larger than the cost. So
Yeah,
that's just another way to look at the roof.
exactly. And along similar lines is HVAC, air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know, air conditioner is present and working, then yeah, it's there. You put in a new one, you may get a slight bump in value. Again, same thing like the roof. But the buyer is going to come in there and their opinion is, oh, we're going to wind up having to replace that.
Mm-hmm.
If not now, in the near future. So we don't want to pay that much for it.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, if you're on the buy side, beware of older HVAC units.
Right.
So that plays into account also. But if you can update it, you can probably get it done for cheaper. You can find somebody to do it for cheaper than what a buyer will want to discount the offer price
Right.
to purchase it in its current condition.
Mm-hmm. Agree. So that's two big ticket items that need to be dealt with in reality. Just because a 20-year-old roof is not leaking doesn't mean it does not need to be changed. And if you have a 15, 18-year-old AC HVAC unit, chances are when August comes, it may or may not survive. So that's two things. In my mind, you're better spending your money on those things to get your house back up to the market value rather than gutting a kitchen and spending the same amount of money on a new kitchen because you still have the issue of the roof and HVAC.
And one more item to add to that pool of general items that it's probably a good idea to take care of is electrical panel. So if your home has a fuse panel or a circuit panel that's made certain models by Federal Pacific, I think Zensco is another one, or if the home has cloth wiring, good luck getting insurance on it. You may have insurance now, but the buyers that will be looking at buying it, it will be almost impossible for them to get an insurance policy on it. So for, I guess, roughly about $2,000, you can get a panel changed out. You could get some new wiring run. Now, if you need the whole house rewired, that's a different discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, if you got those old panels or fuse box, that's a fairly cheap solution that will help get the house sold because it makes it so much easier for the buyers to get insurance on it.
Yes. In all of these things, if the insurance is driven up, the cost of the buyer's monthly note goes up and you lose potential buyers. And the best way to sell it fast and for top dollar is to increase the pool of buyers that are attracted to the house. You should get top dollar for the house if everything else is in good shape.
Yeah, definitely. So next thing, we're going to jump on the higher ROI bandwagon.
Okay.
So those are the kind of, there's low return on investment for the items that we just finished talking about, but ultimately they'll help get your house sold. Now, these next items that we're looking at, these will actually give you a return on investment as long as they're done right. And as long as it's not just lipstick on a pig.
Okay. All right. So once you have the house solid and sound and good bones, like some people say, the roof is good, the HVAC is good, it's watertight, then you can get into doing what can you do for a little investment that will actually give you a return on your investment and make the house worth more. The new garage doors and steel exit doors or entry doors typically give you a better return than the cost, a more return than the cost. So your ROI would be good. The curb appeal, I can't say enough about it. We've talked about it before. Pressure washing, mulch, put some colorful flowers, just make the house look as attractive as you can without a renovation as what it looks like from the street as you drive by. That's what curb appeal is. Fresh paint on the exterior, no peeling paint, the doors, those things will absolutely help attract buyers.
And we just had an episode a few episodes back that where we covered that if you increase your curb appeal, that typically houses with good curb appeal will increase your selling price by 7%.
Yeah. So the next one on the list is just minor kitchen and bath updates. We're not talking about a $60,000 kitchen gut job. Good luck with that. We're talking about painting cabinets if they're stained, new hardware, changing the countertops, changing some light fixtures that are dated, some things that you can do relatively inexpensively in the grand scheme of things will again attract more buyers, give you a bigger return because the buyers are willing to pay for it rather than seeing everything that needs to be done. As with the roof, they will want a discount over and above the actual cost of what those things are. So those you should get your money back plus on. We have a social culture where we are. An outdoor kitchen, people love it. I'm not saying go spend $100,000 on an outdoor kitchen like some people do, but you might have a space where you could put a gas range with a cooktop and an oven, or incorporate a barbecue pit without costing you a whole lot. It would give you an attraction that somebody without it doesn't have, and maybe again increase the pool of buyers. So it's not necessarily a need, but it's something that people seem to want in our culture, whether it's Friday night football, Saturday night football, Sunday football, whatever the case may be. They enjoy being outside with family and friends. So that's just something that to think about. If you have the space, do not go create it. But if you have the space, you might be able to drop a couple of appliances in and make it more attractive than it is without it.
Put in a fridge, hang a couple of fans up from the ceiling, put
Mm-hmm.
a TV up there, and watch football games, have parties, and
Right.
the like.
Because we are social animals.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's move on and cover the money pits, the things to avoid. This is kind of a quick fire round, so we're not going to
Mm-hmm.
dwell too much on it, but we kind of leaked one of them back at the beginning of this episode is swimming pools. It's a high cost to put them in. There's high insurance, and no pun intended, but it's a small buyer pool.
Yeah, a low return. Some people want a pool. Some people do not want a pool. Some people don't care if it has a pool or not. So you'd be really limited to the ones that really want a pool. And then this is one. Well, it's my house. I can do whatever I want in my house. Well, you put a purple paint on in a room that's not attractive to the audience. That'll take care of some buyers for you and run them off.
Bold,
You do
weird
some
colors, weird tile.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is people look at that and go, ooh, orange walls.
And black and white floor tiles. Some people like them. Some people get turned off immediately. And that was the thing back in the day,
Yeah,
whether you should
and I
do
guess
that or
one
not.
would kind of depend on if it fits with the rest of the decor of the house.
Right.
But if it's like
Right.
just one room,
Yeah. And then another one is, if your house is in the $250,000 range, don't go spend $10,000, $12,000 on a Viking range. It won't fit the neighborhood. It's overkill. If you need to replace the range in the kitchen, buy a typical, moderately priced, nice range. Don't go overboard and price the house out of the subdivision comps to where you have more in it than you can get out of it.
Yeah, and something that, I've my wife and I kind of struggle with. We like the idea of a wall oven. We've got a plan if we ever decide to pull the trigger to add a wall oven to our kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
But we look at the prices, and the cheapest wall ovens we can find are $2,000, and we can get a range for way cheaper that's got the oven and the stovetop. And while we like the idea, it just, from my point of view, it doesn't make financial sense.
And then you have to put in a cooktop beside.
Yeah, or a range. I mean, depending on what you're doing.
No, I mean if you put you could put another range and have two ovens.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I say that because my wife likes to bake, and so being able to do all kinds of baking in, say, 3 different ovens would be really appealing.
Mm-hmm.
But just the idea of it, I don't think that would fit with the neighborhood or the house.
Yeah. And then another one is don't go out and start changing the floor plan on your house. You bought the house because you liked it. You probably liked the floor plan. If you're living in it and decide to sell it, there might be something about it. You may have outgrown it, but don't start a major renovation on a house right before you sell it. You will increase the pool of buyers, but you're not going to get your money back the first year or so after you do that. So just be careful about any major changes. Get the mechanics of the house right. Get it nice, fresh, and clean. And we didn't talk about cleaning, but cleaning just makes all the difference in the world. A deep clean, and you can do all of these things. And then you look around, like I said before, you wonder why you second guess why you want to sell the house. Once you get everything cleaned up and it's fresh and nice, it's like, I might want to stay. That's the time to put your house on the market.
Yeah.
What else, Clint?
Well, I'd say the
recap.
takeaway is clear.
Yeah.
Make sure your bones are good. Them bones. Make sure it's insurable. You don't have to, but it does increase your buyer pool.
Mm-hmm.
And focus on low cost, high impact visuals, paint, curb appeal, and that's the smart money.
Yes. Okay. Clean, and spend some time on a declutter and depersonalize. We didn't talk about that in the prep, but that's something else that helps. That's my pet peeve.
Yep. Well, and they're not normally thought of as an ROI investment, but it's definitely an investment in getting your home sold.
Okay, I think that about wraps it up, Clint. I don't think we went too long today. This one might be right on time for a change. So if you get any value out of this, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, comment. You can reach us on rerealestatepodcast.com. Leave a comment. We'll address it in a future podcast. So if you have any questions and want to talk, Clint and I are certainly available on RE Real Estate Podcast. We have our contact. rerealestatepodcast.com. We have our contact information. So reach out to us. We can visit. We can talk on the phone. We can meet face to face, whatever you're comfortable with. And we can have a heart to heart about what needs to be done to get your house on the market and sold. So I think that's about it, Clint.
Another one in the can.
Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching.
See y'all later.
While we may discuss topics such as lending, interest rates, title law, real estate law, and appraisals in addition to real estate sales and transactions, please remember that we are only trained and licensed as real estate salespeople in Louisiana. The information shared on this podcast is for general purposes only and should not be taken as legal or financial advice. We may be agents, but unless we have signed paperwork stating otherwise, we are not your agents.